tuning into Love 99.5. Hey, how's your day going? Well, I just hope and pray that all is going well with you. And later this afternoon, we'll bring to you the Ballon d'Or. It's going to be live on Love 99.5. Lionel Messi likely to win 7th crown. Well, it's possible, isn't it? We'll find out later tonight when the whole event begins. It's going to be live on radio on Love 99.5. But before I tell you what we intend to talk about this afternoon, I need to quickly apologize to those of you who are listening to us right now but did not hear about the postponement of the Love FM, Insure FM, DBS Habitat Fair. I'm saying this because I had a couple of calls from some people yesterday. They were asking me which part of the mall the event was taking place. And I was like, oh, Charlie, we have to postpone it to. And they were like, oh, we didn't know, we didn't hear. So to all of you who are listening to us right now, and for whatever reason you had to make your way to the Kumasi City Mall either on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, hoping to have met us there for the Habitat Fair, apologies to you. But we had to postpone it. We had to postpone it for very, very serious reasons. We had to postpone it. So it's happening this Friday through to Sunday, the 3rd to the 5th of December. That's when this year's edition of the Love FM, Insure FM, DBS Habitat Fair is happening. So for those of you who made your way to the mall, hoping to have been part of the fair, well, apologies to you. It's not too late. It's on this Friday through to Sunday. Well, the theme for this year's Habitat Fair, as we've been telling you, is to build or to buy. To build or to buy. Now, I know that many people would say, well, you have to buy. Others would say, well, you need to build. So we took our time to run you through which group of people should contemplate and think about building and which other group should also think about buying. But when we had that conversation, we ended it there. That was it. We just left it hanging there. So what we've decided to do this week as we count the days to this year's Habitat Fair, we want to bring to you more conversations like we often do. We're going to bring you more conversations. And today, we want to focus our attention on owning an apartment. Affordable housing is what we're talking about. So, yes, you might not be the kind of person who would be able to buy a parcel of land and develop it from scratch to finish, but you can still equally own your own apartment. Call it your home. Call it a house. It's for you. But you don't own the whole entire land, but you own that portion where the building is on the land. Listen, it is very affordable and it's very cool. My very good friend is right here with me in the studios of Love 99.5, and we are more than ready to take you through a conversation where you would get to appreciate what it is we're talking about. Frank Abuaji Dinyanta is right here with me in the studios of Love 99.5. Monsieur Frank.
David.
Bonsoir, ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci.
Say Nadia, you call France because of the Ballon d'Or. So. But Charlie, surprisingly, some people went to the Kumasi City Mall thinking that the fair, thinking that the, in fact, I had calls yesterday.
Yeah,
I had calls yesterday. So the 28th, sure. I had calls yesterday. I'm like, we had to postpone. Yeah. So apologies to those who went there.
We went extensive though, but it's quite unfortunate they didn't hear the new date, and I believe that that should not put them off. We are expecting to see them on the 3rd to the 5th of December, definitely. Which is this particular Friday.
And I can vouch and promise you that if you should make time to come to this event, you would not regret any bit of it. I'm telling you this. Yeah.
I think Friday is a holiday, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
the 3rd of December, Farmers Day.
Of course. So, they will all be home, and I expect to see each and everyone at the fair.
You will not regret it.
Just come and ask questions, even if you don't have the intention or you've not set up your mind to start. Just come there, ask questions about housing, and you'll be heard.
The thing is this. Everybody has a part for him or for her.
Yeah.
So like Frank is saying, you have not even made up your mind to start anything yet. Don't worry. Come through. Engage with exhibitors, engage with professionals, and then you make a decision. You might have begun and you've gotten to a certain stage in building and you want some items to buy. Everything that is needed for building is available or is going to be available at the Habitat Fair. Everything that is needed for building is going to be available. Everything. Anything at all you can think about is going to be on exhibition. For those of you who have begun and waka because of some financial challenges or whatever issue it is, if you want somebody to even buy that building from you, you would have bias. Again, if you want somebody to assist you complete the project, pay back in installments and enjoy the project, you will still meet somebody there. So it is for everybody. For those of you who are even thinking of renovating that completed apartment because a few challenges, a few things are going bad, again, you'd have everything you need. Today's conversation, like I said, has to do with owning an apartment, owning your own, accommodation. It is not everybody who can, and I'm going to emphasize this. It is not everybody who can and will be able to put up his or her own structure from scratch to finish. But there are opportunities and options for you to own your own accommodation. So we are live now on Facebook, LUV 99.5 FM, like you've been doing with us from the very beginning of our build up to the Habitat Fair. Make time and join us on Facebook because, like we've been doing, we've got visuals, we've got pictures, we've got videos. We'll be running you through those videos on Facebook, and you get to know why you would have to buy. But before Frank runs us through what he has today, Frank, elsewhere, people are very okay, very, very, very comfortable in owning apartments.
Yes.
People are very okay in owning apartments. But in this part of our world, many people are rather of the view that why don't I build from scratch to finish?
Yeah.
Why is it so here? Why don't we want to own apartments? It's still a home, though.
Yes. So let me say good afternoon to our listeners and those who are joining us on Facebook. I think that it all comes down to the lifestyle of the people, which is the culture. So the culture where we find ourselves in has created that problem for us. I see it as a problem because within some years to come, we have generations unborn, and we are expecting that at least not all of us can own our own buildings. But if in our setting we want to go that way, you ask yourself, so in the next generation, where will your kids be? Where would they also have to own these lands? Are we going to go that of the Netherlands way, where it got to a point that they needed land space, they had to move the sea to a certain portion to get the land available under the sea and then fill up so that they could make spaces for properties. And as I speak to you, that part of Amsterdam is one of the most expensive settings that you would find yourself. So we need to change our culture a bit and adopt the new way of going that of the apartment way, high-rise building. And I believe that those who probably might have influenced people negatively on the option of not going the high-rise way are the people that we have to blame. And I believe it has to take a lot of education. It has to start from our younger generation to inculcate that habit of going or living in apartments in high-rise properties. And that is what we have to do. And it's basically down to education.
Well, what I was saying to myself a couple of weeks ago, Frank, is that I'm sure that we'll get to a stage in this country where all of us who even own lands and have put up 6 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 9 bedrooms on it, and then a high-rise building or structure will be mounted on it or built on it, and then some compensation will be given to you, and then you own your apartment. So
exactly. So you make space for those who need places to put their heads. And I believe that is where we have to embrace early enough so that we don't get to the situation that you mentioned. And I believe that the Ministry of Works and Housing has enough work to do. Some of us understand the system. When you go to Tema, some Ghanaians, not all, like I said, the culture of typical accounts are always to protect their territory, to protect their boundary. We are used to that. We always want something for ourselves. We want our own land. We want to build our own property. Even if they have to, about 4 or 5 people, siblings, can develop on one plot of land and then share into rooms. They don't want it. Everybody wants their own part, or they want territorial boundaries. You understand? But doesn't that happen in the outside world? Laws are working. So if you have an apartment and you have your neighbor, there's no need to fight.
All right. So I will not ask any questions right now.
Sure.
All I'm going to ask you to do is run us through what these affordable houses are all about, the types that are available, how people can, benefit from it, and how they can make use of it. Because even the documentation you get, people would like to understand and appreciate what the documentation looks like and how, you can make use of it in other aspects of life. And then when you're done, I will come in with a few questions. But listeners, as Frank runs us through the presentation, please join us on Facebook, LUV 99.5 FM. That's how you can find us on Facebook. And get to see what we're showing you. These are still beautiful accommodation you can own.
Yeah.
And so, for example, what we have on Facebook right now, we have 3 bedrooms, we have 4 bedrooms. Go check it out. So you cannot go buy your own piece of land somewhere, but you own a flat in there. You own an accommodation in there. You're still a landlord.
Yeah.
So join us on Facebook, LUV 99.5 FM, and get to follow the conversation. Frank, over to you.
So, Dave, thank you. So I'll start with trying to let people know what this housing need is. And we've always said that before doing with the Maslow theory of needs, you should know that after eating, shelter is key. So after food, where to put your head is key. So as an individual, that should be your ultimate goal. Then as a government, the government should have a priority to give us places to put our head. Whether you're a civil servant or you work on your own, that responsibility is on government to provide for its citizens. So the definition of affordable housing here now is that when an individual spends more than or up to 30% of his or her annual income on accommodation, which would have utility bills inclusive, all deducted to 30%, then you are within the affordable housing means. So whatever you earn in a month, multiply it by 12, strike an average of 30%, and know that if you are spending more than that amount on a house, either it's renting or you are building with it, you are living in an expensive way. So that is where we have to be, and then it has to be related to that of the single spine so that civil servants can know that, okay, they are spending 30% of their annual income on accommodation. Then you are within the affordable housing limit. So in Ghana, we have a problem. And the gap, as we speak, is almost up to 3 million units. That is the shortfall. So if we want to do that in, say, 10 years, it means we have to build 300,000 housing units in the next 10 years to be able to bridge the housing gap. So then let me give you chronology of how we started from a certain during Dr. Nkrumah's era to the current situation we find ourselves in.
All right, so whilst he's about to do that, like I keep saying, stay with us on Facebook. Yeah. And then you get to appreciate what we're talking about. That you can own your own accommodation. You can own your own, apartment, and you'll be fine. You have no issue with the landlord. If you cast your mind back, if you go to the Snit Flats area, that's exactly what happened. Yeah. There are people who own the Snit Flats. They don't they don't own the whole land. Yeah. They don't own the whole building. But they own the apartments, and they are their own landlords and landlords. You are a landlord. There are certification to it. You own the apartment. You can use the apartment for a mortgage, for a loan. We'll run you through all whichever. That. So join us on Facebook and get to enjoy the conversation and appreciate it as well. So Kwame Nkrumah's era, what happened? Yes. So in 1962, we had Dr. Nkrumah introducing the 7-year development plan, which was built around agriculture, which he wanted to inculcate housing units for Ghanaians. And they started that in a bit. It fell along the line. We were not able to reach that dream because, you know how governments work. They come, they promise, and things happen. But it was something good for us where we're going to have stimulating the flow of loans through banks, insurance companies, building societies, pension funds, all into the housing market. So that was one approach that as a country we could go for civil servants today to be able to own some of these housing units you see on Facebook. Yeah. It was something that was going to be monumental, or something that was going to be built upon, so that today as we sit here, we would have been boasting about thousands of housing units for the average Ghanaian. So when that fell, then we came to the Rawlings era, which we saw the housing estates springing up in Adenta. You know the Sakumono housing estates, the Lashibi one, the one on the Sprinters Road, and then the Snit estates during the
era of former President Rawlings. All these estates came up to still support the need for housing in this country.
I'm sure we even had that inside estates and all that.
Yes,
a
champion era within that time. So after those ones, somewhere around November 2006, former President Akuetteh, under the National Shelter Policy, also came in to do what we call the Slum Improvement Project. And with the Slum Improvement Project, it was to solve places of the slum areas. We have some in Kumasi here, we have some in Greater Accra. You know the old Fadama area, which there's been fire outbreaks, a town without number. You can go to Facebook right and now see how
these are slums.
The slum areas are.
Yeah.
In Kumasi, we have earmarked portions of the Abu Abu area as a slum area that needed to be improved. So then there was what we call the habitat. Habitat was housing units made of wood in small units like chamber and hall, small rooms that was supposed to also come and solve these slum improvement. And you could see it's an eyesore. It's something that it does not beautify cities. It's something that creates nuisance within the cities. And we are praying that as we go forward as a country, we would come to realize that this slum improvement project was so important. That was introduced by former President Akuetteh. And let me put this on record, where Ghana was selected alongside Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, by the UN to build this habitat. But I mean, for some reason, it was called the Slum Upgrading Facility.
But these were not the structures that was planned for.
Which structures?
I'm talking this kind of structures.
So we're going to demolish these slum areas and then improve upon them by building the one we call the UN habitat, which I mentioned that it was some wooden structures that was so nice to upgrade these slum areas into a modern city project.
They were more respectable.
Yes, more. I mean, there was going to be an estate setting, so you could see modern city in that area, and you wouldn't see these slums springing up within the cities. But for some reason, like we said, we had pilots in Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. And even in Kumasi, some of these pilots can be found at Atrumakwa and Oma district. And they started. Then people would have been moved from these slum areas. And that was the main motive, that the Sokoban Wood Village was moved from here to its new current setting as we speak. It also fell along the line. We were not able to realize that dream. And that was part of the Millennium Development Goal, which we are still yet to meet. Then in July 12, 2010, under the era of our late President Mills, he directed the Minister for Water, Resources, Works and Housing, then, that was Collins Dauda, to solve the affordable housing projects that was started under former President Akuetteh, which included the slum improvement. So under Akuetteh era, we had the Wa affordable housing, we had the Asokore Mampo affordable housing, we had the ones in Accra, and all these projects were to be completed. So the Akuetteh era left, Mills came in for almost about years down the line. He wanted it done. He instructed the minister at that time. It was still not able to complete. And then still civil servants are not getting solution to the housing need. Then November 2013, the same president promised that under, I think President Mahama, that they were going to receive some facility to kickstart housing. Then the Saglemi housing came in. We were to build 5,000 housing units at Old Ningo, that's the Saglemi project, for our civil servants to be able to purchase these housing apartments for themselves, and then to be able to work for Mother Ghana. As you all know, the Saglemi housing also was not able to realize its dream. And even with that, the good thing was to engage some finance institutions to be able to give 15 to 20-year mortgages for the civil servants. And I have said that that policy is one of the best policies that could ever happen to Ghana. And we are looking up to the current government to do it for the average Ghanaian. Anybody can roll onto it. And once you are a contributor of SNET, you can get the affordable housing package and then pay in installments. Within some number of years, 15, 20 years, you are done. And like I said, these ones go for those who know that they cannot build on their own. And then within some stipulated time, they can enjoy the benefits. And this problem, were captured under the World Bank report in May 2016 that about 48% of the youth from 15 to 24 years in Ghana did not have quality jobs to be able to qualify them to own affordable housing. So then it comes into our range that between 20 years to 45 years, if you are within that working class, you should be able to enjoy that affordable housing package if you cannot start building on your own. So then we will need a broader stakeholder consultation to be able to get these people into enjoying these benefits when they are Senate contributors or any contribution that relates to their pensions, so that if you fall within the to buy class and you're about 45, then you know that once you've been able to work for some time, you still have the option of owning an apartment. So don't kill yourself by saying that you want to, by all means, buy land,
build from
start
scratch.
building, which will create confusion. Own an apartment. And these apartments, we have documentations such as the leases or the mortgage deed or what we call the assignment, which will assign an apartment to you for a duration of years, just as the land is given to you for the lease of 99 years, be it residential. For the apartments, it's between 60 to 90 years. Depending on how much you get it, you can also reassign your assignment to another person. If you want to buy, you sell it. So if I have gotten it from an agency and I've been assigned 60 years, I can sell 50 years of my assignment to you, David. Then you can also relay it to whoever, and it goes like that. So let's not rubbish the high-rise buildings or the apartment setups by saying that for safety reasons, there are so many safety precautionary measures that have been provided in these units. Some has elevators. There are others that has short staircases with landings, which will not feel that you are climbing a higher building, and for that matter, you think that there will be pains in your knees and all that. So let's try and educate ourselves on that. But that notwithstanding, the other part I would want to conclude is that what Ghana need, okay, is a well-defined integrated system of housing finance. Okay, so we would encourage our sponsors, those in the finance sector, to be able to come to the fair and then give patrons the support in terms of the finance need. The installment payments that would make the person purchasing the land not feel that he's committing so much into owning a building. And that can be done by giving a longer duration of finance package, be it mortgage or loans. Then the other one is to a strong legal framework which comprises consistent and holistic set of laws, meaning that Ghana has our housing sector. We had the mortgage decree that was 1972. It's a kick, okay, and we all know that even the 1992 constitution is not cast in stone. It's not cast in concrete. We need to review it. If we review the mortgage decree, we had the Home Mortgage Act, which was in 1993, which was still not solving the problem of mortgages in Ghana. It was looking at a certain sector using their salary. And today, as we sit here, if you don't earn more than 3,000 Ghana cedi, 4,000 cedis a month, it will be difficult to own yourself a mortgage house, which is a problem. Then the last one, we should have alternative strategies to this mortgage financing, as I mentioned, to suit the low and middle income earners. So somebody asked me a question: how can the average organizer, average mechanic, the corn seller, the average driver, how can they own houses to themselves using this policy? And I have said that there are so many institutions who have come down to give you that package that will make you feel like you are paying for rent, but on a longer duration than you owe the house, which is called the rent to own. So with the rent to own policy, we can solve that problem. And I believe government has almost about 99% of this burden to be able to establish these affordable housing units across the country. And I would give my solution or my advice to government on your platform that we have said that don't go putting huge numbers of units in one area like the Saglemi one. It has never worked. As Akuetteh Mampong, it has never worked. Let's decentralize it. Every district can make provision lands available for these units of houses to be built in every district. And we know that even if you are working in Accra, you are from a certain district, and that is where maybe you would want to live. So then you have a chart. Exactly. You have the chart, you know where you are from, and you know that there are housing units being built. So assuming we are building 1,000 units in every district, we have almost about 260 districts in Ghana now. So it means we are going to have 260,000 units, meaning that we are close to the 300,000 that we have to build every year for the next 10 years to bridge the gap. So if you are going to decentralize these housing units, obviously every district will have some units, and every civil servant would have an option to choose from. So whether you're a nurse or a teacher or wherever, a government worker, security agency, wherever, you can have some units of houses within your preferred district. And we have said that the land space to be earmarked for these 1,000 units is about 40 acres. And we know that we'll definitely get it, especially with districts that are far away from the central business district. So in concluding, there are some people will talk about materials that we mentioned, building materials are going up high, blah, blah, blah. But I believe that there's a certain monopoly that the major cement manufacturing company is enjoying. We believe that that monopoly has to be broken through cabinet. There should be a discussion on it just to make the price of cement cheaper. Those who are producing here in Ghana are still forced to sell it at a certain price, even though we know that the ones we import from China should not sell more than 30 cedis here in Ghana. So why are they selling it at a certain price and people are complaining? Let's adopt other types of building, the 3D construction, the wooden type of building, the brick type of building, the pine wood and all that, just to make those ones cheaper. So,
but again, for those of you who have made time to be with us on Facebook, and you're seeing some of these affordable buildings that have been worked on, sprung up, you ask yourself, if our leaders have been that committed over the years, if they have been committed enough, and you said it's a burden. I don't think it's a burden.
Yes,
it's a responsibility.
It's a responsibility. Yes.
If our leaders over the years have been more responsible in paying attention to these affordable housing needs, it would have solved a lot of problems. This census that was conducted a while ago, we're talking about
10 million. 10 million Ghanaians live in kiosks. 10 million live in wooden houses, not wooden as in designed wood or slum areas. 10 million Ghanaians live in containers, metal containers, the ones used for selling. And that is a problem to this country. And we need solutions. And we have said that the Multimedia Habitat Fair, it's here to give you solution to your housing need. So as much as we are advising you, the individual who is watching us live on Facebook, as much as we are advising you, we are also giving solutions to government to see the housing as a priority to Ghanaians. And look, if you don't realize what we are putting out right now, just sit down, relax, and think that go around the country and see the number of uncompleted houses started by individuals who have not been able to finish at different stages. Some are at the foundation level, others at the lintel level, others at the roofing stage. Some has not been, they've not rendered it, what you normally call the plastering. Some are different forms of stages of completion across the country. It runs into billions of dollars.
Why do you think, in your own estimation, why do you think that governments have not been able to give enough attention to this sector?
They've not seen it as a priority.
But it's often captured in budgets, and promises are made that we'll do this and we'll do that.
They've not seen it as a priority. When we saw free SHS as a priority, was it not done?
So what would it take for us to get not just this government, but governments to fulfill its obligation to the Ghanaian, so they would have decent accommodation?
Yes, so they should listen to the experts in the field. And then we are not saying they should use government money to build affordable houses. It's not done anywhere. Go to Egypt. For the past, just 4 years ago, they built almost 1 million units of houses. 4 years.
1.3 million.
Egypt. 4 years. So there are other forms of partnerships, which the one that works better is called equity. Don't go for loan like the one we went for, $200 million to go and build Saglami from Brazil. That will not work. equity partnership with investors. They own half of the project, you own half. They better understand that they are also part owners of the project. They give you the money for free. Go and build. Let's share. So you have the land, they have the money. At the end of the day, the average Ghanaian needs a place to put their head. So government should not be greedy enough to say that they want to go for loans, come and build and sell it to Ghanaians. It will never be cheap.
And again, sometimes we try to put politics in.
The one-bedroom unit as Akuetteh Mampo today is selling for 100,000 Ghana.
And it's so stunning because people are not able to buy it.
And the square meters per the room is small.
Yeah.
So you see, we are not doing things. Why is government looking for profit? What for? It is your duty to solve the burden of the average Ghanaian. And if the Ghanaian does not have a place to put their head, and you need to give them houses, you want to build and resell it at an interest rate to you.
But here's the situation where SNIT completed those projects.
Yes, not all of them. They've completed for this one. They've completed 300 units.
SNIT completed some of these projects, and SNIT will definitely want to sell and make some profit. But that is why government should have, in a way, like you were suggesting.
So I've mentioned that they should have intervened,
yes,
so that civil servants can be apportioned this one, and then their pension funds be used to secure these units for them, because not sell it to them outright.
We say affordable. How affordable are these houses?
Yeah, because that's why I'm saying that, because the nature in which these housing units were built, it was built on loans. So then they need money to go and repay the loan. So it was a wrong option in the first place. Then the better one was to have gone for equity. And anybody who understands equity financing will tell you that the investors want to be part of the project. And looking at something that is expensive and in the long term, if it was equity, we would have completed Akuetteh Mampo affordable housing, all 1,052 units by now.
But again, if government is not really giving it the much needed attention, as citizens ourselves, have we really raised our voice loud enough for government to also appreciate that? Listen, you cannot come and make promises and not deliver on those promises, because we need the houses anyway.
Yeah.
As a people, have we really raised our voices loud enough?
No.
Why?
Because
we're struggling anyway.
Yes, we are struggling because the education has not gone there enough for them to realize that the situation that we find ourselves in was a deliberate attempt by government to shift our focus from demanding housing units, but now try and build it on your own. And that is where the problem is. So we in the real estate sector now face the bashing that your houses are expensive. If government had built housing units that is competing with ours, do you think some of our people would have been selling houses for $100,000 here in Ishiaeso? No. And again, you understand? So that is where the problem is. And I believe that this discourse should go for government to know that multimedia is doing its best to create awareness for people to own houses. Also for government to be on their toes, to also supply housing needs to the average Ghanaian.
But again, Frank, my concern is, like I was asking a while ago, we're not raising our voices loud enough.
Yeah.
During the last elections, some of the manifestos captured that, we would even pay for
rents for graduates
who have jobs, and then pay the money to the landlords and then deduct from.
I heard it was a bit funny, because I even raised the argument that paying rents for individuals is problematic, because someone who has gotten an employment around East Legon, okay, compared to another person who has employment around Atumakwa, and you're going to pay rent, you end up paying $1,000 for the one at East Legon and paying 200 Ghana cedis for the one at Atumakwa.
But if the person gets decent place to lay his or her head, and then the person's going to pay through the salaries that he or she earns, I mean, so go for 1,000 and go for 200 Ghana cedis.
Yes, but whatever it is, so then the government appreciates that housing need is a problem.
Yes.
That alone, I was happy about.
Yes.
So then why don't you go forward, develop housing units in districts, so that when you post your service personnel, they will not go there and be a burden, because service personnel are getting 500, 600 Ghana cedis, and they have to rent a house to also go and serve the government again. So what makes up their 500 cedis? Which landlord will take 300 out of the 500 every month and say that the service personnel has to pay that, and how much would they be able to be comfortable?
Again, I think that again the onus lies on all of us.
And you know something, Dave?
If we hold them to account, if we raise our concerns, if we raise our challenges loud and well enough, they don't take us for granted. They'll provide.
So you know why developed countries are thriving, and they are always going forward. The government has been able to take over affordable housing need for the people. So housing will not be a priority to you to say that you want to go and work, be corrupt and get money and go and buy land and build a huge house for yourself and steal state money. No. So then your focus is that the government has given you an apartment. Then the government will also come in and solve your transport need. The government are giving provisions that you have a certain card which you can use to take the tram, take the bus, take the boat, take the train, whatever. And then you will not be focused on saying you need money to go and buy Land Cruiser Prado. You understand? So your needs too, that basic need that will make you corrupt has been catered for.
Yeah.
So how come in our part of the world, governments are not seeing that transportation is a problem as well as the housing need?
Listen, if we are making sense to you and you want to make a contribution, why don't you join us on Facebook and drop your comments there? Ask questions on Facebook, LUV 99.5. Now, on Thursday, before the main event on Friday, we'll activate the phone lines from the very beginning to the very end and take every concern, every question you have. We've intentionally held on to the phone lines. We want you to put, your thoughts together, listen to us on a daily basis like you do. And, if you have questions and concerns, we'll address all of it for you on Thursday. But for now, we're bringing to you all the necessary information. We're sharing with you the information. You have the information. Make use of it. And that's why we keep saying that join us at the Habitat Fair. It's this Friday through to Sunday. Be there and engage with people like Frank Abaji Dinyansa. Speak to the experts. Listen, if you've begun building and you've run short of whatever financial challenge you have, there are people who are willing to give you some things on high purchase. So you have the products or the items, and then you pay in installments. That is why we're doing this for you. I don't want to see people living in slum areas. Living in slum areas. I don't want to see people who are patching. I don't want to see people who are struggling to put their head somewhere. There are people who are even running away from their landlords and their landladies. They leave home very, very early because they don't want to meet with their landlords and landladies. Why would you want to go through all the stress? There are things available for you. And that is why we're saying that for the next 3 days, Friday through to Sunday, be with us and benefit from knowledge and benefit from products that have been, reduced to the barest minimum that you can meet your pocket. We'll be right back after these messages. Please stay with us.
Mami money Juma. Udaya ye fe. Mira
It's a build-up to the Love FM, Insure FM, DBS Habitat Fair. And like I said, we postponed it from last week, from the 26th to the 28th. It's now the 3rd to the 5th. The 3rd is Friday. It's a holiday. Be with us at the Kumasi City Mall and get to appreciate what it is that will be on exhibit. Now, we have run you through the advantages, the benefits, and reasons why you need to consider, buying affordable houses in terms of apartments and the like. They are still your own property. Your name is on the documentation, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Now, Frank, I just want you to take time. For those who think that it is not workable, we know of the snake flats, don't we?
Yeah.
And people have lived in the snake flats for years.
For years.
And they haven't had any issue.
Yes.
And even if you want to, sell it out,
you can. But I know people who have sold theirs for some time now. There are some doctors. I mean, they have doctors' flats. They have nurses' flats. I've actually lived there before, so I know what I'm talking about. And from block 1 to like 20, I mean, people are enjoying it. So it's good to own an apartment. Likewise, trying to build on your own. But we are saying that if there are conducive opportunities for people to be able to get these apartments, why not?
And again, we're still showing you
so these are the affordable housing.
Yes,
you could see that they are nice and they are there. Like, I feel that, I mean, stakeholders should meet on it and just see diverse ways where they can also give. I believe that SNIT is being too tight on their pricing and
but can you blame them?
Not trying to.
Can you blame them?
No, but so for how long that if you are not selling it, it should go waste. It should be there. People are not buying. It is still there. Whatever means, even if it's spreading it for 20 years, the person can pay in bits for you to get your money. So then why wouldn't they want to engage in those ones, but rather would want to still leave it hanging and it's still uncompleted?
Because we call it affordable housing.
Yes.
They are not affordable.
They will not be, because the duration in which the construction process takes also adds on to the investment. And at the end of the day, when you are done and you strike an average, you need returns on the investment.
How about the private sector, people like you? What are the challenges that you are facing in also erecting or putting up some of these affordable structures? And what would you need from government that would enable you put up these buildings, but at a more affordable prices, so workers and people who are power people, Kaya people can still afford? Yeah,
so we have engaged government on to establishment of the Ghana Real Estate Fund, because everything about what we are talking about is financing.
Yeah.
So either you set up the fund or you give private developers the leeway to go for such equities from other investors outside the country, which are still cheaper. Because I believe that those funds from outside are cheaper than the ones or the finance institutions that we have here, except one particular bank, which I don't want to advertise for them, so I won't mention it. But theirs are also good. So we have that one. When that is done, it will be easier for the government to control what I build. So you are giving me money as a developer. You are instructing me to put up structures to suit what you want. Other than that, I don't get access to that fund. So then you have control. But when you leave me as an individual, I want higher returns on my investment. So even if it takes me 10 years for somebody to buy my house, I don't care. Unless, of course, I'm looking at it from the angle of, what do you call it, corporate social responsibility, that I want to build cheaper houses. The other one is tax incentives. Developers will need tax incentives to be able to stick their neck out and go for such affordable housing scheme. Yes, we have it in the GRA law, that if you are going to build and you are building affordable housing, you should be giving tax waivers. But the law restricted that option solely to the Minister of Works and Housing. That if the Minister of Housing see that, yes, you qualify, then, so if I sit here and I don't have a good rapport with the Minister of Housing, definitely as a developer, I won't get such a package. Then the other one is to also partnership with the chiefs who own these lands. We have said that individual lands will be very expensive. So President Kufuor started it, what we call the land bank. The government need to take lands belonging to the state in every district and relay these lands for affordable housing. When it is done, I'll not go and build on that land and add the land value for people to come and buy. It will be excessive. So if it's for government, the lands are free, and then the buildings come on it, then the cost will be spread over a duration of time. So I've made mention of the financing, I've made mention of the Ghana Real Estate Fund, I've made mention of the tax waivers, and I've made mention of land banks that will be available. All these has to be done by government. Okay. Until that time, our hands are tied.
Let me read a few messages from Facebook. And for example, this one says, thank you for this program. I and my husband will be there. Please, do you have any apartments around Bantama, Breport area or nearby, 3-bedroom or any? Well, we don't know. If someone is listening to us and the person has any such facility in those areas and the person is renting out or you want to sell out, well, somebody is interested. I have this other message. It's from Ahinkra Evans. Says, so David, please, I want to know, how can someone earning 500 cedis a month pay to get his own apartment? How do you respond to this one?
Yes, so like I mentioned, there are some, meaning that you should have a mainstream income flow. 500 a month, you are not supposed to be deducted 40% of your salary by law. So that will make it difficult. But if you have other income flows and you're able to prove it, that even with the deduction of the whole 500, you still have something to live on, then something can be done. So we would advise that. That is why the most people who are on our government payroll, which is the civil servants, are the target group, because they know that per the single spine, they qualify for a certain section.
I have a certain mind on this one. So you earn 500 Ghana cedis. I don't know how old you are, but you're earning 500 Ghana cedis. And you know that there are some financial institutions that are into Susu.
Yes, most of them. Sure.
So you do some Susu contribution.
Sure.
For 2 years, for 3 years. If you are really bent on doing this, you save some amount of money. And you and I know that your occasions will be bet you 50 cedis, 20 cedis, 100 cedis. So you get some gets on the side. Contribute to the Susu schemes. After some years, you can go for some facility, some loan.
Yeah. I know some who have engaged. Like I know that they engaged me over, I think last week, on coming on board. So I really want to still advertise for them. I won't mention their name, but they have the housing account. So that meaning you are saving towards, and I've said that some of our developers also have those schemes that you pay in base to own a land, and then you pay in base to build. So you can come to the fair, and then we'll let you know where you can go to a register, so that you contribute in bits on monthly basis towards buying a land. Then after that, you contribute towards building.
And for those of you who still have doubts about, well, you earn 500, you earn 700, so you cannot own an apartment or build your own house. Listen, it's because you haven't spoken to the right experts. If you sit with them and you engage with them, there's so many advantages, in terms of housing opportunities out there for you. So either you buy or you build. And so, listen, it's all about you, your commitment, your dedication. That is all that matters. You are bent on achieving this. You are bent on doing this. You will be able to do it with the right commitment to it. So join us this Friday. Join us this Saturday. Join us this Sunday, and let's do this together. It has to do with the Love FM, Insure FM, DBS Habitat Fair. Everything housing is what we're talking about, and it's happening at the Kumasi City Mall. Christmas is around the corner, don't forget. And Kennedy Digital Satellite is making this Christmas exciting for everyone by giving a good discount. Now, effective 1st November to the 31st of December 2021. If you buy a 32-inch television, it's been reduced from 850 and is now going for 749. From 850 to 749. But please note that this promotion ends after Christmas. So after Christmas, well, we go back to 850. Again, at Kennedy Digital right now, if you buy an air conditioner, 1.5 horsepower, you get a ceiling fan for free. Buy a deep freezer from 500 liters to 900 liters, you get a ceiling fan for free. Again, if you buy a television set from 50 inches up to 75 inches, you get a ceiling fan for free as well. Now, they have commercial fufu machines available. Domestic fufu machines are available. Popcorn machines, sewing machines, industrial sewing machines are all available. Plus, double-door refrigerators, showcase refrigerators, and tabletop refrigerators. Now, they also have washing machines from 7 kg up to 12 kg. They have gas cookers from 4 to our listeners out there. I am excited about the people who have shown interest to be at the Habitat Fair. I'm really excited about it. I know several lecturers who have shown interest. I know several, people who have shown interest, and these are people who, have begun building. They've gotten to various stages of completion, and they had wanted to go to town to get some items to buy, but because of the discounts they'll be enjoying, they're all putting it on hold, and they are going to be with us at the Kumasi City Mall this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What do you want to say to people who are listening to us?
Yes, so I've always maintained that the Habitat Fair, Multimedia Habitat Fair, will be a one-stop shop for any housing need you want. So we encourage you to come, and we will need to also acknowledge our sponsors, DBS, and the rest who have come supportive. We are still encouraging some to come because it's never too late. Patrons would have the option to make diverse choices, and I believe that you would have a solution to your housing problem at the fair come 3rd to the 5th of December 2021. So join us, and I'll be expecting you. I would want to meet you and solve your housing need problems for you.
And what would you want to say to exhibitors? I mean, we keep saying on radio that there are going to be discounts, there are going to be discounts, there are going to be discounts. In fact, Africa, for example, we know, has slashed some of their items by 50%. I mean, chandeliers and all that. And they've made a mention of it even here on the diary. And they are saying that, listen, even if you come to their showrooms right now, if you come to their shops right now, you get to enjoy these discounts. But there are many who we have communicated this to our listeners. And so as an exhibitor who's going to be with us through the 3-day fair, in terms of discount, what would you want to say to them?
I think those who have already given discounts even before the fair, we would applaud them. And we encourage the rest to also do same, because we want building to be easy for, or owning a house to be easier for the average Ghanaian. And we believe that the rest can also emulate those who have started. I don't think it's too late. Let's give good packages. And I've mentioned that those who need lands, just meet us there at the fair on the 3rd to 5th of December. You would have the option of choosing good litigation-free land here in Kumasi.
And yourself, are you going to be exhibiting anything? You are into real estate. What will you be showcasing?
Yes, I believe that I wouldn't want to, I think for fear of conflict of interest, I wouldn't want to own a stand. But I believe that I'll be around to provide advice and also help my colleagues who are, all those exhibiting are my colleagues. So then advice and also counsel on whoever, give some consultancy advice on the sideline, and also help those who would want to maybe give some lands out when we meet. I mean, Kodia Peja, Ebuakwa Sepase, Achuma Kwahoma area, Achuma Boko, Offenso area, Sokoban area. There are lands that belong to our company that we can also give options out. So let's meet, and then we'll see. You never know what we have in the bag.
Most definitely. and if you are interested and you want to be an exhibitor, call this number 0245 594425. I take it again, 0245 594425. Call that number if you want to be an exhibitor, and tell the person that I said they should give you a good deal. If they don't give you a good deal, ask them to allow you to speak to me. All right, so let's give you good deals so you can be a part of this event as an exhibitor. 0245 594425. Some of you have also sent messages to us saying that they want to sell their buildings, and Frank, I showed that to you.
Yes.
If they come to the fair,
they can come. Just bring them, and then would have a collection of them, and later would advertise them to prospective buyers. It's not a problem for us. We could solve on that. Obviously, I mean, it comes with commissions, though.
Frank Abajide Nyanza is a real estate developer. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dave.
But please note that the Habitat Fair is this coming Friday. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it wrong. It is this coming Friday, the 3rd to the 5th of December at the Kumasi City Mall. My name is David Akuetteh. We join the BBC for some news, after which DJ Rubin will drive you home safely on the best drive time here in Osei.